Ronald Watson, aka Triple Forte. I don't even think I started rapping. I started doing poetry, like every other sad boy kid who needs somewhere to put their feelings. That was back in like 6th grade, 7th grade. Only until my freshman year in high school, I moved to Rockford. At the end of my freshman year, I met this kid named Akeem through this program called Outward Bound. Shouts out to Outward Bound. We hated each other when we first met, but then he heard some of my poems and he was like, yo, you should try rapping. So like I tried to put the poems to raps and it was fucking terrible. I could not write a poem to a beat, so I started writing raps to like fit that. I was born in Chicago, but I moved pretty much every year of my life. So before I got to Rockford, I lived in Ohio, Atlanta, Minnesota, Green Bay, Madison, obviously Chicago, Indiana. Moved plenty of times while I was in Rockford. Then out of high school, I freaking moved to DeKalb. Then I lived in Brazil for a little bit. Then I came back. Now I'm back in Rockford. I said that happened. I get that a lot. And more I had reached a point in battle rap where I became more known for battle rapping than I did for actually rapping. Well, that's not how I happened. Yeah, for sure. You know, like I said, I started off in high school with my homie Akeem. We founded H&C. We met up with our homie Derek. He went by Blaze at the time. He goes by Epic Win. Shouts out to him. He also still battles. So we just linked up. He had the studio. Me and King, we had lyrics. Had every beat we wanted to write to. So like by our senior year, we released our first project. It was called Jedi Mike Tricks. So we like, you know, printed some CDs and it was like passing out in school and shit. So that was like our first joint project as Hustle and Culture, me and him. Produced by Blaze, Epic. Then, shoot, after that, I went off to college. Keem dropped another tape, Jedi Mike Tricks 1.5. Actually, he dropped it when I went to Brazil. He started writing for it. When I came back, I hopped on a few tracks with him. Bam, bam. And that was right around the time I started battle rapping. When I got back from Brazil, Derek hit me up. He had just created Battle Fest. You know what I'm saying? That's when it had like Axe and Pice and Lee Major and everybody, you know what I'm saying? They was outside with it, you know, Santi in there, just, you know, crazy. The tournament, I remember I'm in Brazil watching the tournament. Not like faithfully, seeing these niggas. When I come back, I already know, you know what I'm saying? I'm on their heels. I was writing in my head like for months while I was in Brazil. No opponent, just writing shit. Cause like that shit got me so hyped. So like, even before I knew I was gonna do battle rap, like I was gonna do battle rap because I had been drawn to it in high school. I remember my first battle was fucking Iron Solomon versus Mike Flames, like some Mexican dude with no shirt on, and this little Jewish white kid, Iron Solomon, just fucking rapping it, destroying this man. It was crazy. It was the first time I saw like a nerd type rapper just fucking destroy like a gangster rapper. I was like, that's fire, I need that in my life. So when Derek approached me about having a battle, like my brain just instantly went into battle mode. I'd have been watching this for years. Yes, of course, I would definitely do this. Seeing a whole bunch of people, everybody want it. Then as soon as I got back, I was like, this will be great. This is like a whole different avenue that people like me who are just interested in lyrics, they'll be able to see that I'm a lyricist and then they'll check me out. They'll be able to check out my music and this will help me grow as a fucking musician, as an artist, you know what I'm saying? When Battle Fest died out, we still wanted to battle, so like we were going to Ohio, fucking going to Minnesota, going to fucking Milwaukee just for be on cars with people. And so like, they just started like booked fucking paying, like we'll at least pay your travel, cool. Like that was like first time getting even a little bread off of it, just, you know, the gas money itself, that was cool itself. They let us sleep on their couch and shit, so they have been keeping up with us. So they wanted us to hop on a little comeback league thing they had, so essentially that became like our adopted home league. So we just started battling with no-codes, helping no-codes grow, and then that just turned into a whole thing. And I just ended up randomly getting a call from King of the Dot. they was having a little tryout battle, and they wanted to have me come out to Toronto and do a little tryout for them. And so just built it up, just constantly working towards it. I built up a little notoriety of some sorts in battle rapping. I was really good at it, and I immersed myself in it, and it just made music take a back burner for me. And so it's just I had reached this certain level of success in battle rap, and then some shit just happened in battle rap that really fucked me up, fucked my head up, and I couldn't do battle rap anymore, right? But my brain, the way it works, it still was going through the whole creative process, putting words together like that. It's what intrigued me the most about battle rap, is how creative you can get with what you were doing with your words. And I was also going through a super depressive state, and so I needed a way to express myself. So expressing myself creatively with the words through another form that wasn't battle rap is what I was doing subconsciously, and I realized before I knew it, I was writing songs. And so I just started writing songs again and again and again. Before I knew it, I had a project on the way, and then before I knew that, I was rapping again. So once I realized I had a project, I realized okay, this isn't, a lot of people are gonna think some type of way about this, because this isn't a battle rap persona, and my battle rap persona, I have to be have bravado, be braggadocio, talk about myself, and then affirmation, I'm that nigga, you know what I mean? And my raps, when I'm rapping, it's just it's not necessarily me degrading myself, but it's just me being brutally honest at what I am, where I am, and who I am with myself, and what I do good shit and I do asshole shit, and I just expose all of that, you know what I mean? And I guess I do as well in battle rap, but in a more I'm that nigga type way, and this is just more of damn, that's a human being type way, you know what I mean? I think battle rap has helped in so many facets of what I'm trying to do right now. It's because I've been able to travel all over. I do battle rap. I've been to Atlanta, Texas multiple times, California. I've been to fucking Toronto. I've been to fucking Thunder Bay, Canada. You know what I mean? So I've been able to travel a lot of places, meet a lot of people, establish a lot of connections. So through battle rap, in that sense, it's helped me network. And I've learned how to effectively network by traveling. That's how I got on other cards in other states, and that's how I got to and eventually end up getting a call from the major league, right? I immersed myself in it, and it made rapping take a back burner for me. I feel it was a great experience for me, because it helped me develop a blueprint on how to effectively use that trajectory, you know what I mean? I know I had the skill with the words. It was just about getting myself heard to people, you know what I'm saying? So when the Battle Fest went down, you know what I'm saying, when you're not in a location that is a hub for your sound, you have to go out and you have to travel and you have to establish those connections. And the way that I like to get to know people, I like to establish a connection. And then once they establish that connection, once they get to know me and then they end up being put on my music, they're more inclined to be interested in it. That's exactly what I was doing with battle rap. These people that I met in battle rap are some of my best friends, because we would just kick it before or after, the battles. After we get through saying mean stuff to each other, we just kicking it. And so just going out there on my own dollar until people started seeing that consistency. It's all about consistency. You know what I'm saying? You show up with a good product, you're consistent with it, people gonna start taking notice of that. Then eventually people gonna start reaching out to you. Yo, are you available for this date? We'll throw you this or whatever. This is exactly how I was doing it. I went from traveling on my own accord to getting paid to travel. Then that eventually led up to people noticing me. People, you never know who battled. Off a random battle, somebody sent some footage to one dude who had access to get me on the Prove Yourself card, and he hit me up, yo, somebody who said you be decent on the card, you think you can make it out to Toronto. That it's random to me, you know what I'm saying? It just happened, so you never know. I did it with battle rap. I just basically road tripped myself into bigger leagues, and that's what I want to do at rapping. When we had the home league, we had managers that took care of everything. They booked all the battles for us. So we only got to see the battlers, you know what I'm saying? The battlers that we were supposed to say mean stuff to. So what they were doing was being mean to us. So what we did was being mean back. That's how that rivalry through Milwaukee started. They had a league in Milwaukee called Heat Rock. We had Battle Fest. We had a rivalry going on. So, but our managers took care of everything. I think the switch flipped for me once Battle Fest went under and we started having to book our own things, because we started having to reach out to the managers. We started to reach out to the battlers. You know what I'm saying? We started having to establish our own connections. That's how you started to become friends with them. So like once it was left up to them, we could easily, you know, dehumanize them, demonize them. They the enemy, they the ops, you know what I'm saying? Once you got to talk to them, like, okay, well this is what we actually working with, you know what I mean? So like that's where it changed for me at. The transition, I feel like, was not hard at all. Like I have been falling out of love with battle rap in the first place, you know what I'm saying? Like I started only taking battles for money, you know what I mean? And like, and once it got to that point, like it was just like a job at this point, preparing like for people at this point. Actually, there was a point where I got really like back into it. I've been meaning to ask you if you wanted to watch one of those battles. Like I was living with my homie Derek and Rocco, and we were just all three battle rappers, so we were just traveling everywhere. And it was like there was like this battle rap energy in the house, so like we were just always bouncing shit off each other. Where it was just coming up with some of the craziest shit I've ever like written. You know, like my whole writing process is a whole, probably for a whole other interview, but it's just like, it was some incredible shit. Like I was proud of myself for it. But then after that, it was like I just taking battles for money, and so it's just like, and then the shit happened, and then it was just like, all right, I'm done. And it was just, but my brain doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? I can choose to stop, but my brain didn't. So it's just, and then I'm listening to lo-fi. I'm listening to it now, so it's just like I ran across a lo-fi beat I liked, and I just was. The next thing I know, like the song was written, and I realized what I was talking about, and it was just like I was just going through like a depressive state of my life. I was living in a not good environment. I was indulging in not good habits. I was going through toxic shit with people in my lives. It was just all culminating into a bad little thing. Like there was, I think I went like 10 to 11 months without talking to any of my family. And I was just so deep in this shit. Like my mom was just calling me. My family, my brothers, my sisters, nobody could get a hold of me. Like it was just so like, so I was just going through all this shit. So it's just, I had no vent for it. So it's just like, it just turned into, so like I was just pouring this shit through this music, right? So it's just, you know, and it was helping me definitely cope with it. And also meeting my roommate now, Steph, helping me start getting into this thing of like self-realization. Like I started like learning. I like reached that level, like when you start to realize who you are. You start to accept yourself for like the good and the bad of yourself. You start to realize what makes you good, what makes you different, what makes you unique. You start to realize everybody is unique in their own different way, and finding out what's unique about them is what's so interesting. You start to realize the bad habits that you display subconsciously. These are what your characteristics tend to go to, and like now that you're conscious of them, now you can make that conscious decision to stir those bad habits in the right direction, right? So I was realizing these bad habits that I was displaying, that just going throughout my life, just living, I would just revert to these bad habits because that's how my characteristics naturally tend to, and I can understand both sides of it, you know what I'm saying? And you start to realize that there's both sides to every human. Humans are so complex, they're gonna have different sides, you know what I'm saying? So you can't just, accept just the side that you like and just, shun the side that you don't like. You have to accept that that's what makes a human. And so like all this shit was going through my head and shit, and so I just funneling that, and it was helping me understand more about myself. And meeting Steph, and he was just like another like person who was just fucking sporadic brain like mine, and so it was just talking to another person like that, you know what I'm saying? So I always felt like I was fucking different growing up, you know what I'm saying? I always felt like I was the weird person in the room, right? It was always just fucking different. And so like chopping it up with him, and we were just constantly bouncing ideas off each other, and it's just he could talk like I could talk, and we could just talk like me and you would do, you know what I'm saying? So it's just you another one, you know what I'm saying? So he was like one of the first I ran into. It's like, wow, it was like being a mutant, feeling like you was the only mutant your whole life, and then meeting another mutant, and y'all could just like talk mutant shit, and it was just crazy, right? And so like he helped me through this like transition, was like finding out who I am, and it was realized, then finding out I had fucking ADHD like helped me. It made so much shit make sense in my head, like why some shit just was so easy for me, why shit was so difficult for me, what shit I was going through in my head, like, and like all of this stuff is just like all culminated into me like wanting to put this shit down. If I needing somewhere to put this shit, it was all just gathering space in my head, needing somewhere to put this shit, and funneling this shit through the music that I was writing was like helping me get out of that depressive state that I was in. And then I realized once I was done, once I had everything finished, I had like way more shit than I needed. Once I cut everything down, once I ordered, structured everything, I realized like I just wrote a whole like project about the slow descent into depression that I was going through and the rise up out of that depression. Trim Forte, that's Trim, turning racket into music. It's an acronym. Forte, Trim Forte on all platforms. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. That's where you can find me at. On Spotify, SoundCloud, Pandora, all the music streaming sites. You can find the music that we get licensed all on there. Trim Forte is all everywhere. Hustle and Culture. Look us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Follow us. It's the team. You know what I'm saying? You look on the lookout for all that good stuff.